the last session of the Crochet Garments with Confidence Summit with no other but the fabulous Michelle from MJ's Off the Hook Designs. She just presented the amazing presentation all about creating crochet garments from motifs. And we all know Michelle's got loads of amazing designs using smaller motifs and the one she's wearing currently. And I believe we've got some news coming with that one. So come on over, everyone. Say hello in the comments. Ask your questions if you do have any questions. Hopefully, we'll have some time to go through a few of them.
Yeah, there were already loads of questions. Like I could see you were answering on the YouTube side chat as well, Michelle, weren't you? You were like trying to about tails and about ends and about this and about that. There's so much, like motifs are so easy, aren't they? Like we were saying, but then actually working out how to join them all together is a bit of a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, someone said in the comments they just bought the pattern, so it is flying off the digital shelves.
Yeah. Oh, lots of people. And Catherine's in Switzerland where it's snowing.
Oh gosh.
Is it nice? Is it nice where you are, Michelle? Is it nice again?
It is. It's cold today, but it's nice and sunny. But it is cold. It is cold. I actually this morning I was just watching a funny TikTok, just like having my coffee, and it was like stepping outside to see like what season we're in or like what we're gonna wear. It's like we never know. Are we gonna step out? It's gonna be 20 degrees, or is it gonna be like
who knows? You're like that here too. Oh. Well, yeah, it was sunny this morning, and I sent you a picture, didn't I, Michelle, of like a summer outfit that I have designed. But oh my gosh, it was so cold. I had so many goosebumps. But I was like, I can't believe I'm standing outside when it's so cold, taking pictures of me and not very much.
And then we have to start modeling those summer garments. And
I know. Oh, we have
my sunroom that I do most of my photos in, because I used to try to go outside and get pictures too, but most of the time it's cold, so it's not comfortable.
Gotcha. So we've got a question already from Darlene saying you mentioned a thumb join. What is that?
I guess probably the best thing is to go and like watch it being done, because it is kind of, it's basically, they call it because you're holding it like with your thumb, but you tuck tails and you pull, it knots it, but it's probably best to watch the tutorial on how to do that. I have a video with tips and tricks that shows it, as well as my granny cardigan from last year. So not the one that I've just done. I didn't do a thumb join with this one. I do show them just a simple knotting, just like a simple knot on this one. I did show them a little trick with this one if they wanted to do a little bit of knotting so that they don't have so many tails to weave. But the cardigan I'm wearing this time, I did join as you go to finish it, rather than doing all of the seaming that I did with the one last year. But I mentioned in the video too, it's like you can, if you want to do a seaming method, you can. This is just another option on this one if you really hate seaming. And you can see sort of like it gives a little bit as you go, but you get a little bit of gapping with granny. It was a faster, less tail, because you are losing that last round. You don't have to do the tails on it. And then even just all the tails that you get with seaming, you're eliminating all of those tails. And I found it so much quicker to do join as you go.
Yeah. And we had Sarah did a session on seaming on our first day, didn't she? And we were talking about like the stability it gives and stuff. And sometimes like you say with the grannies, you don't necessarily want that. It depends where you want to add the structure or not to add the structure, isn't it? Whereas with that one, the join as you go, we were talking about it before, weren't we? You start from the bottom up, don't you? And go, so it's then a lot easier to like, it basically becomes it flat and then you close the sides. Yeah.
Yeah, you basically just end up doing it all into one piece. You just fold it to assemble, add, like you're just seaming down your sleeve and your side, and that's it. Oh, it was so fast. It was so fast.
I love that. And Catherine's made a really good point that weaving ends is difficult with granny squares because of their holes. Yeah, I've found that with the granny stuff that I've done, because you kind of have to go through the middle of the stitches, don't you? And then get into the next cluster and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything you can do to eliminate that, Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and you do really have to be careful. So I just want to say this. My daughter and my mom might get mad because they were the ones that were helping out. I was like, let's make this granny square. We like literally pulled this granny help. I had my team. So 64 granny squares to make the crop medium large that I'm wearing. And they were weaving in the tails for me. And I showed Emma my really quick knotting trick, which you can watch if you go watch this tutorial. I said, Emma, do it like this. It'll be so much faster. We can like get this cardigan done. And she didn't listen to me. She's like, no, let's weave the tails and stuff. So, but when they were weaving them, they did not. And I don't know who to blame, whether it's my mom or Emma, because they were weaving the tails. But as I was doing join as you go, some of them were coming undone. They didn't weave them enough. So that's actually what scares me with weaving, because you really have to make sure that you leave a long enough tail and that you are going through more than just one granny square. So what they were doing, I think with the cluster, they were only going one way and back, but this yarn is like a silkier yarn.
Yeah, so it's going to slip.
Cotton knotted like really well and holds a little bit better. This one was a little bit slipperier, so some of them were coming undone, and I was having to this is where my thumb join came in handy. I was having to join yarn on and knot and weave them. I'm like, this poor cardigan's gonna fall apart, guys.
And it's taking longer than if you had.
So that's the thing, that you want to make sure if you're weaving tails that you leave a long enough tail to make sure. And what my mom ended up doing, she was like going down into it, like she was weaving it a lot more and like back. So she's like, for any other tails I weave, I'm doing them really, really good. So, but I don't know. It could have even been Emma who wasn't weaving them enough, but you want to make sure whatever you do that you test it maybe out and don't rush so much. Having to go out.
I suppose, especially if it's going to be a wearable that that you're then going to need to wash, and you're then going to need to it's really important, isn't it? Really
it's
important.
Also, things are fixable. I was like, what am I going to do when one's coming? Well, it actually was a pretty easy fix. So if you ever have that happen, if you have a short piece, you can always just knot on another piece of yarn to make the tail longer and just make sure it's a good knot, and you can then weave that section. So I was able to, any of the ones that came apart, I was able to easily save them. So
it was a crochet surgery.
It was a surgery for sure, but anyways, we know that's not going to happen with the join as you. The last round, it's all good.
No. There are
it's all very secure. It's just any of those inside rounds. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So, do you have a preference? Do you have a preference between thumb join or fisherman's knot for grannies?
Well, see, I like the thumb join just because I can do it really quickly, and I've found it really good myself. But that's just my preference, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's important to just try, isn't it, and see what works for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think one's better than the other. It's just how you decide to do it, how you feel comfy.
It can be difficult for some people. Emma always does the magic knot when she's knotting, because she can't get the thumb join. She's tried and she just can't do it.
Do you think, I've never looked at Emma's hands that closely, but do you think, because you've got quite slender, slim thumbs, haven't you? Do you think that helps? As opposed to... It
might, because it just looks so awkward for when she tries to do it. I'm like, I can't help her. Yeah, so somebody had said about the bamboo yarns, the slippery finish. And that's what I even found with this one. It definitely, this yarn, this is the mellow spun, and it has a little bit more of a sheen. It's not super slippery.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
You just, even weaving the tails with them, you have to be, depending on the yarn you're using, you just have to sometimes be extra cautious about what you're doing. Whether it's or weaving that it's secure.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you use sharp needle when you're weaving your ends?
Sorry, what's that? Veronika? I was reading a comment. It distracted me.
No, I said, do you use a sharp needle when you weave in ends? I find that sometimes help because you go
especially
through
because you can like pierce through the yarn as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it extra grip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Someone says they hate granny squares. There's if you really tails, you can always just do it in a solid color. You don't have to change colors, or use a variegated, or you can use like a gradient yarn, which I thought about doing that too, just doing one all in like a nice gradient yarn, so you're not switching off colors. But there's something, to me, it's just there's something really beautiful about the squares. I just, even though they can be a little bit tedious, but the join as you go method is, I think it's a game changer. Really is.
Yeah.
We have someone here saying that I love the left-handed instructions, but I can't follow join as you go. Garments are a no-go for me. Yeah, so it is. You'd just be working in the opposite direction, wouldn't you? You just go around the other way. But I can imagine that's really difficult to not see that in your dominant hand.
I know.
Yeah, I can imagine that's hard.
It's all symmetrical still. Like, it was just, you would be going the opposite. My finished edge was all on my right side. Their finished edge would be on the left side, and then finishing the raw edge. It would just be like a flip of, but I know it's still like wrapping, I guess, your brain around it. It should work. It should work. It shouldn't be anything that would throw it off. It should all be symmetrical.
Yeah, I have a friend who's left-handed, and she, if there isn't a left-handed video available, she actually just puts a mirror in front of her phone and watches it in the mirror, and actually then that makes a bit more sense if you can actually see it, how it would be you working it. But yeah, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. And then we have someone saying it's almost enough to send me back to amigurumi. Just stuff the ends in and fill, and then you're done. There is that. There is that.
Is that?
Oh dear. Gosh, I think I can't keep up with the comments. I can't see lots of.
I know we've maybe missed some. I'm not sure, but I know there's always little things that sometimes, and I don't know, like my mom, she doesn't crochet. My mom doesn't crochet or knit, but she actually likes weaving in the tails. She's like, I just sit and watch TV and I do it. So I can see a lot of people not minding. For us, like, because we're running a business, I feel like I am sometimes in more of a rush to get things done. But if you're not in a rush, like, and you can just sit and relax and do it, like, it's
part of the project, isn't it? It's just the whole journey. Yeah. And we have had some comments before where people actually say, I think Julia was one of them. She actually said she enjoys that process. That's like, because you didn't have to concentrate, you didn't have to count. It's just kind of sewing it in.
I know. And that's why mom's like, she's so happy to do it. Like, she's can weave in tails or and I did it. So I just did a stripe blanket recently as well, that like I carried all the tails at the side, because I will avoid work like that. I just will avoid it if possible. And but Emma, she won't follow my tricks. Like, I'll teach her them and then she won't do them. And then there's all these tails to weave, but then my mom will just step in and she'll weave them. So I guess we have our little system going, but I'll find some way to avoid extra work if I can.
I used to when I used to work night shifts, I used to work with someone who, she crocheted a lot, but she also then would weave in ends for people. So she literally would take people's blankets and she would bring them in. So for her hour break on her night shift, she would sit and weave in ends, and she would be like, "This is my escape. This is my therapy. I'm quite happy. Thank you very much." Yeah, she'd eat her dinner and then she would weave in ends, and you'd be like, okay, cool. It's just whatever works for you.
I think there'll be a lot of people after the lady's contact details.
Yes. Yeah. I said to her she should charge, and she was like, no. Oh dear. But yes, there are people, anyone that wants to see it, I'm going to put the link up there. That is the QR code for Michelle's pattern, the one that you are wearing, because people are asking for it. So snap that and you'll be able to see it. And then we also need to mention, as it is the very last session, the free ticket, if you're here on a free ticket, that will carry on. You'll be able to view all these videos up until this time tomorrow, and then the access will go. That will all disappear. So if you want to upgrade and get a VIP ticket, then you can do that on this QR code, and I'll put the other one back in a minute. This is the QR code, so rewind when we're finished and go back and get it, because then you can have lifetime access, because we've covered so much, haven't we, in these 3 days. So if anyone wants to get that, you still can. So there we go. How about, someone's asking, how about using fray check? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what.
I don't know what that is. I assume it's something that stops the ends from, well, because I do. I mean, like maybe like a bit of fabric glue to hold the ends in. I don't know how that would feel for a garment. That would add a kind of a different dynamic to the fabric, wouldn't it? I don't. Yeah, I think I would rather weave them in properly or find a way of doing it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, we're being asked if we wanted to contact you unrelated to pattern support, is email the best way? Yeah, definitely. All of our websites will have our contact details or a contact form. So just go and grab us on there, no problem. And we all have Facebook groups as well, so you can ask us questions on there too, and on our social channels. Yeah, lots of people saying they don't like. Oh, this is an interesting question. And there's another similar one further up. Have you all thought of designing more dresses? And there's people asking, Michelle, what's coming? We're going to give a sneak peek into what's, not a sneak peek necessarily, but give us a heads up as to what's coming soon. What have you got in the works?
What do I have in the works? Well, I don't have a dress. I don't think I do. My daughter has been wanting me to do one though. It's just, I find I get so many projects on the go. So I don't particularly have a dress. Hannah may have a dress.
I have a dress coming. Yes, I have a dress coming.
I wanted to do one, but then I converted my plan, and but I do have another crochet along coming up with Hannah soon. I guess it will be in June. So
isn't it? Yeah.
Already into April. So we're going to have some summer garments coming out. I have a lot of little projects on the go right now. It's just all a matter of when they
come together.
When they come together.
Yeah. I need to get a wriggle on with some of mine, because I'm going to miss the season if I'm not careful. And
there's always next year. I always say there is always summer or winter somewhere in the world. So it's all good.
Is. I get, that's what happens. I think I was working on my Winter Wonder collection, right? I had all these like Winter Wonder patterns, and I never got to the cardigan yet. And I'm like, well, it's not really winter anymore. So now I have to wait to release it. So, and then I've got distracted with lots of summer things, but we have a little bit before they'll be coming out. So
definitely. Janet's asking, is there a way other than using a QR code? Yep, definitely. Just Google and put in MJ's Off the Hook Etsy store, and you'll find it there. It'll be the first one that comes up for you. Oh, there's a granny square tank top being requested. And apparently, look, here we are. We couldn't finish the summit without this conversation. Apparently, everyone says that we look like sisters, Michelle. Me and Veronika. Apparently, we look very similar.
We had sisters, we had cousins, now we're twins. Yeah. We just got an upgrade, Hannah.
We're twins. I'll do it. I'll take it.
Oh, gosh.
And this we've done.
I do want to work on a granny square specific tank top, but I am working on a granny stitch tank top, just because I love not having anything to weave or any seaming. So I'm working on one that's actually top down, and it's all like in one piece, which is like neat. So I've been working on it, but again, it's when I'll get it actually like finished and complete and filmed, because I like to film a tutorial always for you as well. So I'll work on one, get it for sure how I want, and then I'll film a tutorial for another one.
Well, I was just talking to Veronika and saying that my Franny Granny collection that has been coming out, the children's versions that I didn't have the squares at the top. And everyone is saying, can I have the adult version of those? Do you like the hoodie version and the this and that? And I was like, yeah, sure. But then I know that I've written the patterns, but I need to now film them, because again, I like doing the whole video for the whole thing. and they're completely different to the children. So it's kind of like you could get the gist of it, but I want to film the whole thing and launch them. So they're all in ones, no seams. I love it. This is a good question. We kind of covered this. Do you have more than one design going at a time? Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah,
I have several. And then with Emma's always looking for projects, my daughter that works with me. So I pass things off to her, and then she gets them finished, and then she gets another one finished. And I'm like, then my stack of things that I have to film and do the pattern and everything else, it starts piling up on what. So we are coming out. We are doing more lots of granny things because it's so fun. So we are working on a sunflower collection.
Oh,
lovely. So we're going to have a blanket. We have a cardigan coming that's sort of, this one's a work in progress. So it has granny stitch, and then it's going to have the sunflowers incorporated.
Yeah. Awesome.
Plus a full sunflower one. We have a lot incorporating a lot of granny squares and granny stitches because they seem to people just keep wanting more of them. So
they do. Is that for you to wear or Rose to wear?
This is for me, but actually a tank top would be really nice in this.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, Emma's obsessed with sunflowers and doing these. So she has like whipped through so many of these squares for a blanket that one will probably be coming soon. It's just I have to get it all filmed. So I have to film it and show you how it all comes together. But I love it. I have so many ideas. I could never just work on one thing at a time.
No, same.
On the go.
And that's what Barbara's saying. How do you make time for the crocheting that you do? We don't really do. We don't have time.
I usually spend most of my evenings crocheting. Like I don't crochet a lot through the day. It's very rare, unless I'm having like a bad day where I just like want to lay on the couch and do nothing, which isn't that often. Usually it's evenings I spend, unless I've got something else going on, I spend crocheting. And then Emma, like she loves it too. She's like, Mom, even if I wasn't working for you, this is what I would do. Like, this is what I do every night. So it's interesting how, this addiction we have, it's great that like I'm able to do it as my work, but she's like, I would do this even if I wasn't, because she loves it so much.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, isn't it, when you're creative? Because I think like I had the pleasure of meeting Emma earlier this year, and I think she'll design. I think she will design at some point. She's got it. She's really creative. So that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. She's like, hopefully she'll be able to start designing at some point too. So, she's still young.
Yeah.
She's still young. So
she's got it. She can do it. She can do it, definitely.
She's learning lots of techniques, though. I'm always trying to teach her like a new little tip or trick
for her to ignore.
Oh, just watch my tutorial. It will show you how to do it.
Go and see it. I love that. Go do it. Oh, we have run out of time. We've got to the end of our session. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you to everyone for joining us. If you have any more questions, we'll go back over these live videos. They will be on our channel. So do ask on them, and we'll pop in and we'll answer as many as we can. Make sure if you're on your free ticket, you go back and you watch as many videos as you can do and want to within the next 24 hours. Or like I said, if you wanted to upgrade and make sure you have all of this for forever and ever, then you can still get that VIP ticket. But yeah, what an amazing 3 days.
Absolutely.
I'm exhausted, but I've had fun. So this is good.
Exhausted in a good way.
Exhausted in a good way.
In
a good way. So so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And Michelle, you're awesome as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you all again soon, everyone.
Yes.